take a picture just of how big a group this is. Okay?
And that's how we'll start our meeting.
Linda, do you want me out there? Linda?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
no.
I've heard that before.
Here, and welcome everyone to the South St. Paul City Hall and the April 8th, 2019 meeting of the South St. Paul School Board. And Wendy, will you take the roll, please?
Inspector Diaz.
Here.
Inspector Bjorklund.
Present.
Inspector McClellan.
Here.
Inspector Walker.
Here.
Inspector Lalaberty.
Here.
Inspector Aaron.
Here.
Inspector Felton is present, 7 members.
Thank you. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, once again, welcome. I believe in my 5 years, this is the biggest group we've had. So I want to welcome you all. Again, invite you to come up if you want to take pictures. Tonight in the Quality in Action, we're excited to celebrate the winter activities and sports. And
Yeah,
to do that,
thank you.
we'll hand it off to Chad.
Thanks for having me. As you can see, we're excited to be here. We have a large group, and there's just so many tremendous things that continue to happen inside and, well, typically inside in the winter of our buildings, kind of in and around the high school and Central Square and down at Woog Arena. And I say this, and it's meaningful each and every time that I'm here. I truly am blessed to be able to kind of get to work with students and families that are here. When I was outside, I was commending the kids for all their hard work, time, and effort, because it just doesn't happen, you know, and it takes a lot of passion, a lot of dedication, a lot of pride in whatever that craft or whatever that element that is there in your life. And I truly believe from 2:30 to 10 o'clock, we're learning so many life lessons of character education and things just beyond the classroom. And besides just myself, I know our advisors and our head coaches feel the exact same way, that they carry those same passions, and then they develop really deep, lifelong relationships with the students and the participants and athletes that they get to know. And it just continues to go on and on and on for years and years. I'm so old now, I'm getting invited to weddings and other bursts of you know, students, of kids, so it's exciting. That being said, I'm just going to kind of highlight some of our advisors, have them kind of come forward. They'll talk a little bit about their winter seasons, talk a little bit about the participants, and we're just going to kind of start and go through our activities group, and we'll go from there. So with that being said, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Seal McDonald, our speech advisor, and her participant. Seal?
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for inviting us. The speech team this year had weather challenges, as did every other activity and academic in this school. So in January, of course, when we had that cold streak, it was hard to get time to practice. But Nikki, for example, as the other speech team members, worked hard on their own at home, had a little less coaching, direct coaching then, but came in ready to go every time there was a chance. Weather also played havoc with our season. For the first time in 27 years, we had to cancel our Hilke Invitational on March 9th because the weather forecast was dire. And we also have a junior high competition in February that happened to fall on a day where the weather was awful. But we got through the season, and the rest of the Saturdays were fine, and Nikki did a great job at the section tournament as well. She did not advance to state, but she did very well and earned all conference honors in poetry. So she is our representative here today. Nice.
Congratulations.
So while Seal's walking through the thing that I'll say about Seal,
Good to see you. Thanks for coming.
retiree, you know, who can't just say no, right? So is still an advisor, still working really, really hard within our speech program. Is now, you know, is filled in as a long-term sub and is back teaching Spanish. felt horrible, horrible, horrible when we were trying to make the decision with the Hilke tournament, because not only is she a great speech advisor, but she also probably put together about, I don't know, 20 pounds of soup, and also, I mean, there.
Yeah, how much did we have?
It was a lot. A lot of food that she had cooked, baked, done all this stuff that we're now trying to find, like, where do we move and freeze to be able to make sure that people would partake of her other talents and all the things. So when you talk about connects with kids and how passionate, I mean, it just is in her blood in terms of who she is. So truly lucky to get to work with her. John, Deneen, I'm going to ask you to come forward if you would, John. I'm going to talk on behalf of Miss Davis, who we just heard. What, Dr. Webb, about Miss Davis?
Yeah, one of 9 Minnesota Teachers of the Year finalists, our own Jess Davis from
Right.
South St. Paul.
Deserves a big round of applause. So on behalf of Miss Davis, I'm going to read a little bit about the math team and John. So John Deneen is a junior, has been participating in our high school math team since his 7th grade year, and has earned the title of top scorer for the South St. Paul team for the past 2 consecutive years. He's also been amongst the 10 high scorers in the entire Metro East Conference, made up of 8 schools and more than 200 students in each season. He is consistently voted as the most valuable mathlete by his peers each season. So this is John Deneen being recognized for math team.
Yay.
Yay.
Congratulations.
A mathlete, I like that.
So at this time, I'm going to turn over the microphone to Miss Anderson, who is our robotics advisor. Julie?
Hi.
Hello. Hello.
I just wanted to make sure the microphone worked. So a lot of you may not know how robotics works. Robotics is a winter activity. We learn what the challenge is for robotics for the season, the first Saturday in January, and then we have 6 weeks to build a robot that does that thing. And so this year it was handling playground balls and big discs with Velcro on the outside. We compete twice each year. We go to 2 tournaments, and each tournament we have about a dozen competitions. Each competition is about 2 minutes long. So in one competition, we came in, low 20s out of 50 teams, and in our second competition, we came in 23rd out of 64 teams. So I'm here to honor, I didn't call her up yet because I forgot, I'm new at this, Claire Holson, who is the captain of the robotics team. And Claire, I just am so grateful for you. I think you do such a good job leading the team. We had half of our team were people brand new to robotics this year, and you are so patient and so willing to try anything, to do stuff you haven't done before, and I think that's so cool, and I'm just really grateful you're here. So, I'd like to honor Claire.
Congratulations. What elementary school?
Thanks for your work.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for everything that you do, Claire.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Dude, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
gonna find a Lincoln School kid.
Thanks for your leadership, Julie.
You know, I'll just say robotics, it's cool for me to see when they get the task in January, and they literally Saturday mornings are up there tinkering, and they have people with all sorts of different skill sets, those that are kind of just want to turn a wrench and want to piece it together, and they have programmers that are sitting off to the side, and then they have like pilots, the kids that are like learning to drive the device, and they're taking things from last year's robot and putting it on here, and I don't know that they ever leave with a completed project. You know what I mean? Sometimes, but oftentimes they're still hoping, fingers crossed, what it's going to be. But the activity in and of itself is really community, because they get up there and all these other schools, they're helping one another try and figure out different programs. And we went to Grand Forks.
Yep.
So we were in Grand Forks and the U of M
Yep.
this year, were our two competitions. So it's just it's refreshing. You talk about retirees. Mr. Nix, Jay is still involved, coming back in terms of volunteering. So it's just getting people connected. Sergeant boys, you know, of former students that are continuing to kind of be in and around and give back and are just passionate about it. It's cool. Mr. Hager, our show choir director, turn the microphone over to Nick.
Hello, good to see all of you again. My name is Nicholas Hager. I am the choir director here, and I also do show choir, and I am here to bring Chandler Rosengren front and center for all of the great work he did. I know we're here honoring winter activities and sports, but show choir is a little different. They're one of the ones with the little asterisk, and we go all year long. We start in August, and we're sweating in Central Square. We go all the way through up until spring break. And through that time, especially in this transition year, had we not had the leadership that Chandler brought and Amanda, who also couldn't be here, we would have really been quite a few steps behind. But Chandler really stepped up, taught me what I needed to know as a director, because I'm new to the show choir world, and he really led the whole squad, and it was really cool to see, because I think he, in addition to leading for me, he led for his peers, and as a peer, leading amongst your peers, that's a really challenging thing to do, and he did it very well, very professionally, and I just want to say well done.
Thank you.
So,
Way to go.
Thank you.
Congrats. Chandler, tell me you went to Lincoln Center. It's very classy.
Performances, they were wonderful.
It really was a lot of fun.
Good job.
Well done, Chandler.
Thanks for coming. Way to go.
Good year, Nicholas.
Congrats, Nick.
So Nick and John Devine, our band director, are kind of a team in terms of the things that they're doing. The element that Nick didn't speak to is all the other things that he has going on right within his day besides just show choir. In January, we had our music festival within the Metro East Conference, where we had about 11 choir kids partake and go out and learn a piece of music at St. Lutheran's Church. I think what's next to Montevideo? Is it St. Lutheran?
St. Andrews.
St. Andrews. Man, is that thing beautiful. So we had orchestra and band, and it was just phenomenal. And John ended up taking like 10 kids, and they learn and work with the director and spend 3 days kind of developing that on top of all the work that they're doing for show choir and varsity singers and pep band and just the list, jazz band. The list goes on in terms of how they divide their time up, and they're just around a lot. So thank you, Nick and John. Another person that's just as hardworking, our theater director, Mr. Eric Olson.
Hi, everybody. So, we have my one act folks come on up here. I brought quite a few.
Yay.
Good.
So, and I didn't tell them ahead of time, but I'm going to ask them all to talk. Surprise. So, yeah, we had a really nice run this year with our winter one acts. I've got just a few statistics for you. Our winter one acts were called Comedies at the End of the World. We had 12 student directors, 21 students on our running crew, 61 students acting, and we performed 9 plays, 2 of which were one acts, and 6 of which were skits. And in addition to that, one scripted. The MCs were scripted as well, with a script that was co-written by a student playwright. So a lot of student involvement in a lot of different ways the students got involved with the production. And I'm actually just going to have each of these kids step up to the microphone briefly and say what they did in the one acts.
And their name.
And your names, yep, please.
Thank you.
So I'm Claire Holson. I directed one of our one-act skits. It was called Creepy Girl on the Playground. It had a cast of about 7 people, and I was also props manager for the show.
I'm Kaylee Contreras. I played the lead in the middle school show that was called All the Ways the World Will End, But Not You.
Hi, I'm Alex Walsh. I directed the MCs and actually wrote my own script for that. I only had a cast of 4, too.
You also acted.
Yeah.
My name is Grant Baker, and I was one of the co-directors for one of the skits called Bloody Mary, and then I also was an actor in the competition varsity production.
I'm Lucy Polkinghorn. I co-directed. This is my 3rd year directing, and our skit was PG, and I also acted in the competition play.
I'm Callie Slindy. I directed a show called From the Mouths of Babes, and I was in the competition show.
Hi, I'm Louisa Hammond. I was Holson's assistant director for the junior high show. I also acted in Creepy Girl on the Playground and as an MC.
Hello, I'm Isabel Hammond. I'm Anna Ebert. We co-directed a play, The Purg, and we also costumed all the ways and the Purg.
So yeah, the 1X are, I think, is particularly special for us because they get so many opportunities for kids to participate in so many different ways in production. Actually, it ends up being our biggest production of the year. So a lot of fun. And then I also, if I can, I want to make a plug for our next show.
Absolutely.
I brought a little poster. So Midsummer 2019 is opening on Thursday, and it won't be snowing. And that's our spring senior high show. It's very closely based on William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. And how many of you guys are in that show? Okay, yep. And then Kaylee, she's just a wee 6th grader, so she's going to be in our middle school play coming up this spring, The Little Prince, which will be in May. She's one of the little princes, actually. Yeah. And so there you go. So thank you all for having us.
Eric.
Thank you.
Eric,
Question.
up here.
Oh, hi.
You forgot to tell people that seniors are free, but they must call in to reserve a seat.
So seniors are free, and we'll give you a free ticket even if you show up at the door. So great. Yeah, free no matter how you get there. Yep.
Thank you, Eric.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again. Keep up the good work.
Keep going.
Good job. Love you, theater kids. You're the best. Congrats.
Well done.
Good job, guys. Look forward to seeing you again. For your 6th grade.
Director.
Congratulations.
Always a great
Word. Thanks for everything you do.
Congratulations, Eric. I think coming for a productions role.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
That guy was a co-director, correct?
Thanks for coming out tonight.
The other co-director. It was our senior assembly. It was called
Congratulations. Congratulations. Thanks, Eric.
Well done. Looking forward to that. Yeah, me too. Production is so exciting.
Thanks for all your extra.
I really hope Eric is a strong meteorologist and can kind of make sure that the weather stays away. Another advisor that couldn't be here with us tonight that gave me a prepared statement was Conrad Anderson. He's our debate and knowledgeable advisor, and Conrad had this to say about debate. We experienced some success in debate this year. We had two of our freshman teams advance to the elimination rounds of the Classic Debate State Tournament this year. The team of Emilio Verdeen and Lydia Moorman, and the team of Emily Gotti and Adiana Contreras both finished in the top 10. Over 70 teams that competed in our state tournament this year. So young group, kind of up and coming. Now we're going to turn and kind of start highlighting some of the athletic teams and some of the different groups that are here with us. And to start that, I'll have Don Nyhart, our wrestling coach, come to the microphone. Mr. Nyhart.
Everyone's got one here and there. Here they come.
Yep.
Well, good evening, members of the board, Dr. Webb, everybody up there. Thank you for inviting us here tonight just to recognize some of the accomplishments of our student athletes. It's been a privilege to work with dedicated and talented students over the years and their families, and this year was no different. We had a really great group of kids to work with and great families. This year our team finished off with a 23-4 dual meet record. We had 4 all-conference wrestlers, 2 honorable mention wrestlers. We had the team reached the section finals for the 8th consecutive year. We had 6 individuals earn academic all-section and 6 state qualifiers. Team also earned academic all-state honorable mention, and we had 1 individual earn all-state and academic all-state honorable mention. Just going to introduce a few of them. Behind me we have Max Beeler, and Max is a sophomore. He had 31 varsity wins, which was 3rd most on our team.
Just say who you are. There you go.
Yeah. He earned honorable mention all-conference for the team. He was a section champ for our team at 106 pounds and a state participant this year. Had a great season. Will Nyhart, over there. Will, he had 26 varsity wins for the team, which was number 5 in our lineup overall. Earned honorable mention all-conference. He also earned academic all-section with the highest GPA in our section, which was pretty cool, being his dad with a 4.0 GPA. And section runner-up and a state qualifier this year. Roman Cortez, who just made it from his baseball game. How'd it go? Next time. All right, so Roman is a sophomore. He had 35 wins this year, 2nd most on our team. Earned all conference with a 7-0 conference record. He was section runner-up and a 2nd-time state qualifier this year. And Maverick Whitethorn, who's a freshman. Maverick had a 25-9 varsity record this year, number 6 on the team. He earned all conference honors, was academic all section, and was a section runner-up and a state qualifier for the first time. Quinn Christofferson, sophomore, he had a 30-8 varsity record, was number 4 on our team. He was a team captain for us. Has been a 3-time state qualifier. Unfortunately, injury kept him from competing at the section tourney this year, but he still earned all conference and was one of our team's highest GPA earners, which helped us earn that academic all-state honorable mention. Jared Stroud, over here. Jared is a sophomore. He had 24 varsity wins, earned academic all-section, was a section runner-up, and a first-time state qualifier. And last but not least here, Gavin Christofferson. Gavin is a senior. He had a 47-3 varsity record, which was number 1 on our team. He finished in the career record column for South St. Paul as the top 6 career record with 141 wins. He had 2nd year as a team captain. He earned all conference with a 7-0 conference record. Was academic all section, 3rd time, section champ for the 2nd time, academic all state honorable mention, and he placed 3rd at the state tournament, earning all state honors. And he'll be going on to attend college next year and likely competing in wrestling. We don't know where yet, still working on figuring that out. So that wraps up our story on our group here tonight. We're so glad to be able to come here and share a little bit about their accomplishments, and thank you. So.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congrats. Great season. Congratulations. Congrats. Well done. Good job, you guys. Hard work. Good job. Congratulations. Thank you for all you do. Congratulations. We got the applications. But you can't but this one will be.
Well done.
Good job, Donna.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Way to go.
College, nice job.
Yes, Donnie. Nice job.
It's kind of great to see. All these guys look like 5 pounds heavier, even Don. So that's great. From where they are normally in the season. The other person, while she's here, I'm going to highlight, because I think this is the first school board meeting she's ever been at, and that's Chris Nyhart, my assistant. Like, so much, yeah. on you and I get no applause, and for good reason that she gets all that applause, because it's just great. You know, Chatty Chad, as I'm known in the activities office, it's enjoyable to work with, and she's just stellar at her job. I'm going to talk a little bit about gymnastics. Kelsey Walker, our gymnastics coach, was unable to be here, but she prepared this statement for us. Kelsey Poehler, I pulled my 16-17 year banquet notes together for some inspiration. Reading those really helped me put into perspective the growth that this team has had over the years. Thanks, Kate. In 2016, we had 3 JV competitors for our first meet. This year, we had our first full JV lineup on every event. And in 2016, our first meet score was 95.5, and this year it was 112.275, so dramatic growth. This is the first season we've been very competitive within our conference, winning 2 meets and coming extremely close to winning 2 more. I'm so proud of the team's work, and I truly look forward to watching them grow throughout the year. This year we had 1 all-conference member for Beam, and that is our senior, Kate McCabe. She was also honorable mention for all-around, so that's all 4 events. It's helped me out: Beam, bars, floor, vault. Yeah, I just worked my way around the room. That's how I remembered it. We also had an 8th grader, Eliana Pennington, was all-conference honorable mention for all-around as well, so a really talented young lady coming up. And Delaney DeZuck, a junior, who was all-conference honorable mention for bars and beam. And so that are some notes from Coach Walker. Kate, you want to welcome?
For work. So, congratulations. Way to go.
At this time, I'm going to ask our girls hockey coach, Mr. Dave Palmquist, to come to the microphone. David?
I didn't know he was here.
Good evening. Thank you so much. As I'm getting older, I don't know if I have my reading glasses on or my regular glasses on, so I'll be taking them on and off. But thank you to the school board for having us and Dr. Webb and for all your support. I put down here, I want to thank Chad Sexauer and for all his hard work that he does for our program. So thank you, Chad. And I wrote down our Red Line Club, our Booster Club, is such a big supporter for our program. We couldn't do it without them. And then I actually put down Chris Neihart, too, as a coach. I was talking to Chad in the hallway the other day, and I saw Chris walk in. She didn't come in till lunch that day. But I was like, oh, good, everything's back to normal now, having her in the building. So she does so much. And so thank you, Chris, so much. I'm going to talk about these awesome young ladies. Come on over here, young ladies, and I'll talk a little bit about our season. We were 17-7-3 over the past 2 years, 37-13-3. Back-to-back heartbreaking losses these last 2 years in the section finals to go to state. 2-1 in overtime a year ago and 2-1 this past February. And one of the things I have learned over the years is you love to win, but it's not meant to be sometimes, and you can learn so much more even in defeat. And I think we learned a lot about ourselves. You saw the character of our girls, as heartbreaking as it was. It just spoke to what kind of young kids that I've been able to coach. So, and it helped me grow too, because it certainly hurts to lose. Somebody has to lose, but we're going to be back, and these girls will be a big part of that comeback next year. This season was a special year. It was the 25th anniversary, as some of you know, of girls hockey, and our Red Line Club and our school helped us put on a great celebration. We were a top 5 program ranked all season long. One of the top programs in the state with Warroad and Breck, Mound. We played one of the toughest schedules in the state. This year we won our 500th win in program history, which is the only program in state history, and these girls were a part of that. A big reason why we won our 500th game. Our team was featured as one of the top, 2003 team was featured as one of the top teams in girls hockey history. We also had 2 games recognized as the very best in state tournament history. So it was a special year. It was a wonderful year. And to have a special group of young ladies made it even more special. On our anniversary night, we played Warroad, which is traditionally one of the powerhouses in girls hockey. They played in the state championship game when they lost to Breck. But We were in a 0-0 game with them with 7 minutes left, and they scored to beat us 1-0. It was a special night for a lot of different reasons, but it also gave our girls and our team a lot of reason why we had a chance at the end to win another state championship. So that was a very fulfilling night. We made it to the Kaposia finals for the second year in a row. After winning it a year ago, we lost to Hill Murray in the finals of the Kaposia, which is regarded as one of the very best in the state. So that was really an awesome experience. I was going to talk a little bit about, we have 5 all-conference players. Only 3 could make it tonight. We had 3 honorable mention players, Claire Lehman, Savannah Lenars, and Gabby Madigan. 2 all-conference players. I was going to mention all of them tonight. They're all in hockey, but they're also just all in everything they do, whether it's academics, in the classroom, whatever activity they're involved in, they're just all in, and they just represent all that's good about South St. Paul. Our 5 all-conference players, the 2 that couldn't make it tonight were McKenna Deering. McKenna was not only named all-conference, she was an all-state defender. As a sophomore, one of the very top defenders for her age group in the state of Minnesota. She'll be attending Bemidji State on a hockey scholarship. Lily Ramirez, 9th grade defenseman, who will be a sophomore next year, obviously. She was all conference as a 9th grader, one of the smoothest skating defensemen, smartest defensemen I've coached in 25 years, and she's going to be a great talent to watch. The 3 girls that I do have here tonight are very special. We'll start with Ella Reynolds. Ella is a sophomore. She's played varsity since 8th grade. Ella is a rink rat. She's one of those players that I could have all our players watch all the drills and say, watch Ella, watch Ella. She's just a very special player. She's just great with the puck. She can shoot. She's smart. She's being offered many scholarships in hockey, including Dartmouth from out east and other schools out east. So she's a highly regarded player, but an even better person. So Ella's an outstanding player. Bryn Sexauer has been playing since 8th grade. She is a, they call a versatile player. She just kind of goes, she's a coach's kid, right? She learned from her dad what it means to be a team player. We kind of put her in all different areas, whether it's forward, defense, and she goes out there and plays awesome wherever we put her. So she's a special player. She's going to be one of our leaders next year as a senior. And so Bryn Sexauer, this is her first time being all conference as a junior. Our goaltender, one of the very best. She is new to our school this year, first year. She, as a 8th grader, will be one of the top goaltenders for our program in my 25-year history. She's well on her way. She's the first goaltender to earn 17 victories. She was the only all-conference goalie in 8th grade in our conference. Not Hill Murray, not Hastings, not North Tartan. She was our top goaltender. Delaney Norman's going to be a special player. She's already being recognized by many colleges as well. So the future looks bright still. We have a great core coming back, and I'm very blessed to coach a great group of kids, and very honored to be here tonight. So thank you very much for having us.
Thank you. I can't believe it. Congratulations.
Yeah, you could have come up and checked it.
I see her all the time.
Way to go.
Well,
Thanks for coming in.
Congrats, Rick.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You forgot to mention coach of the 25-year.
Yeah,
thanks.
so David did all the talk about all sorts of things, and I heard Dr. Webb say it. You know, he happened to leave out probably a significant piece as well. So David was recognized as in 25 years as the #1 girls high school coach in the history, obviously with 500 wins, and is it 5 state championships, David? 4, sorry. 5 next year. So 4 state championships currently. You know, just a classy person. I've gotten to know him, obviously, in my 22, 23 years here in the building. Just does a nice job and is a family, faith-based guy running our programs. Maybe a little too into statistics, but other than that, he's great. Yes, really big round of applause. I'm going to kind of read our dance coach. Couldn't be here, so I'll kind of read on behalf of Coach St. Martin with regards to the dance team. We're proud to recognize, and let's see, I didn't see any of them. We had 3 girls all-conference in this year in dance for 2018-19. That's Tori Van Pelt, a junior, Ashley Cruz, a junior, and Emily Vukas, a junior. These talented athletes have been on the team since 7th grade and have shown an incredible amount of dedication and growth over the years. This past season, in addition to talent, they have demonstrated leadership, teamwork, and drive. They've been great role models for the underclassmen, and we're looking forward to having them for one more season as seniors. At this time, I'm going to have our swim coach, Mr. Joe Tonda, come to the microphone. Joe?
Hello, everybody, members of the board, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Webb. Thanks for being here. No, of course you have to be here.
We have to. Yeah.
No, step back. Usually rounding these guys up. I'm sorry. So obviously I don't have anywhere near the prestige that Mr. Palmquist has. But however, I am a 2013 graduate of South St. Paul, and when I heard about coming back, when I heard about the job opening to be the lead swim coach, I talked to Chad, and he was more or less happy to have me back, take me back. And I feel really lucky to come back and see what the team has become, and especially to lead this group of gentlemen. Right now I have 4 of my 7 state participants. John Deneen, aside from being a mathlete, he is one of our all-conference swimmers, as well as Josh Rowan. He's also all-conference. Sam LeMay over here on the side, he was a member of the 400 freestyle relay team that went to state. They took 3rd at sections. He's a great kid. He's really funny. He does a really good job of. You're funny, right, Sam? Kind of. That's all I'll say too, I guess. He does a really good job of connecting with some of our younger athletes and making them feel welcome on the team. It's really nice. It's really nice to see him doing that sort of thing. Aside from being all conference, Josh Rowan over here, he was a section runner-up in the 200 IM, losing only to a state champ. So it's a totally okay second place. He was also on a 200 medley relay team, which last year broke the school record. And this year at state, they came quite close again. I'm proud to say that I'm not losing anybody, and I really wish I had written something down, because public speaking was first semester freshman year of college, so that was a long time ago. It doesn't look like it, but no, it doesn't. John Deneen, again, he has been on the team since 7th grade, and of those 5 years, he now holds the grade record in the 100 breaststroke for all 5, which has been something really cool to see the past couple of years. Again, section runner-up in the 100 breaststroke, losing to the same gentleman that Josh lost to, a state champ in that event as well. And that was, I think John was okay to lose that one time to somebody who is also a really great swimmer. Teddy over here on the end, can't forget about Teddy. He was a runaway swimmer in the 200 freestyle consolation heat, winning by almost a whole length, which was incredible to see. Hit the wall, turned to his team, and just had the big old fist in the air. Just felt like a king, honestly, and it was really great to see. He was also on the 400 freestyle relay team, which did not advance to state finals. But I think I have 2 new state participants. They learned a lot, and I have now 3 years in a row of going to state, and I'm not losing anybody. And there's a lot to look forward to, and I hope that we can grow in number. But I also received a lot of compliments from other coaches and referees and things like that about the character of these guys, and I'm beyond lucky to have a group that I'm able to kind of call mine, in a sense. Like, those are my guys, that's my team, and you guys are great, and these are definitely faces that South St. Paul should be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congrats. Congrats, you.
Great job. Yes, we're all coming back. That's wonderful.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Great job.
Congratulations. What elementary school is this? Way to go. Congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Frank taught you for 10 years.
Hey, congratulations.
It doesn't really matter now, I guess.
We are super lucky to have Joe back kind of in the building working with kids, and you can see his passion for swimming. We are going to work on him having notes prepared. He runs a great practice, and he's super good for the meets, but we'll get him kind of prepped next time. With that, I'm going to turn the microphone over to our boys hockey coach, Scott Mako. Coach Mako.
Board members, Dr. Webb, thanks for having us in. You know, listening to Dave Palmquist come up here and talk about all the cool things that the girls program has, I actually on the way up here I was kind of thinking about, you know, how successful our hockey programs have really been in South St. Paul for being just a small community, kind of smaller numbers. We really do have some things to be proud of with both sides of our hockey programs. You know, boys team last year had a very successful team. We were top 10 in the state. This year, I think we started off slow, but we ended up being a top 20 team in the state. We ended up being the number 17 team in the state at the end of the year in section playoffs, and really quite easily. We beat Northfield 6-2. So I think we ended up in a good spot. Next year, it's our 75th year anniversary. Wow. So 75 years hockey in this community is really impressive. And we're going to make it a big deal. We want it to be a celebration with our kids. We want it to be a celebration in our school, in our community. We have people that are working right now to kind of bring some historical guidelines to our Doug Woog Arena down there, kind of some visual displays that'll kind of talk about our boys program. But, you know, looking forward, we have a large group of young men coming back next year. We are considered one of the favorites in our section to get a bid for the state tournament. I think potentially should be a top 10, for sure a top 20 team next year. So I mean, just to have that kind of success in the small town with the smaller numbers that we have, I think is really impressive for both programs. Our season, we ended up 13-14-1 this year. I think if you would talk to any one of our student athletes, they would expect that we probably should have had a couple more wins. But I don't think anybody saw kind of some of the adversity that we're going to have to deal with beginning of the season. We had a lot of injuries, but the month of December was a really difficult one for us. That we were decimated by illness. At many times in December, I would have 10 or more players gone from practice because we had, you know, so many illnesses. And if you look at hockey, we start middle of November through December. I don't think I had a full lineup until January. You know, so I'm playing a month and a half through the season without having our full lineup in. And then if you look, when our full lineup did finally get back to it, we had a really successful second half to the season. A big reason is this young man right here, Jackson Lures. Jackson was a captain for us. He was a big, powerful defenseman. And about that halfway point in the season, we were having some problems scoring. We had a lot of guys out of the lineup, so we needed ways to get pucks in the net. And we were out shooting teams, but we weren't out scoring teams. So we're out playing teams. We just weren't getting the puck in the net. So that frustration kind of set in a little bit on our team. But we decided to move Jackson up to forward as a powerful forward, someone that could maybe bang some bodies, dish the puck to some other guys. And he did that for us. But on the plus side, too, he started scoring for us up front. So he added a lot of offense for us, and that kind of gave us a catalyst to getting the puck in the net. And we, like I said, we really had a good push that second half of the season, playing our best hockey coming into playoffs, which is what you want to be doing. We eventually lost to Matamidi, who was one of the favorites to win the state championship this year. They went on and won third place at the state tournament, and we had a really tough battle with them for our final game of the season. But the other young man who was all confidence was Owen Ramirez. He was unable to be here tonight. Jackson was about a point a game scorer for us. We had about a little over 20 points. Owen has a little over 30 points, and Owen's a junior, very offensive defenseman. So getting 30-some points as a junior, as a defenseman, really bodes well for the future of our program. And we have several of those junior players like that. So we're, like I said, really excited for the future and what we got going. So thank you guys for the opportunity to coach here. It means a lot. We've got good people, good community, good leaders. Chris, thank you for being someone who keeps up with my idiocracy. I don't teach in the building, unfortunately. I teach at Rosemount High School. So she really helps connect and communicate with my student athletes at Rosemount High School, so we certainly appreciate what she does. So thank you, guys.
Thanks.
St. Scott's
everything you do.
Scholastica?
St. Norbert.
St. Norbert, okay. Good job. I was on the TV and all. 60, 61, 62. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Coming in tonight. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Way to go. Congrats.
I didn't realize he was such a big kid.
It's going to be dry by about 10:30.
Well, he was a quarterback on the football team.
And then I stuck it back on.
Ooh, that's bad. Yeah, that's bad.
Thanks, Scott. It's one of those things where this is just a tough place, I think, to coach hockey. You know what I mean? In terms of just year in and year out, there's expectations within the community, and he's doing a great job. His coaching staff are all South St. Paul guys, and the youth program is becoming way more proactive in terms of what they're doing, and it's a heavy rock to lift. Standing next to me, I have Tessa Laska. Tessa is a senior, was one of 2 Nordic skiers for South St. Paul. She would go over to Henry Sibley every day and train with the boys and girls at Henry Sibley, and then would compete for South St. Paul wearing maroon and white. And that started 3 years ago. And she's been all conference now the past 2 years. This year finishing 4th?
4th or 5th, I forget.
Okay, 4th or 5th, she forgets. 5th. And you have to be in the top 5 for all conference.
Oh, no, top 10. Top 12?
Yeah, see,
10, top 12.
it's hard to believe. I graduated from Drake, and she's going to be going to Drake, so it's really scary that we're both kind of doing this together. But Tessa is our Athena Award winner, this year. So just an outstanding athlete, being on scholarship to Drake University for cross country and track. She's the kind of young lady that is very persistent. In a positive way. She sets her mind to something and will continue to work towards that goal. I think she found a unique opportunity in steeplechase, right?
Yeah.
So steeplechase, for those of you who don't know it, it's like a 2-mile run around the track. And just to make it a little bit more fun, they put hurdles that also have some water underneath them. So you step up on top of the steeple, and you are trying to clear the water as you're running 2 miles. So I think there's like 2 of those or 4 of them.
1 water barrier, 4 normal barriers, so 5 total.
5 total hurdles along your 1 lap around the track. So that is something that she kind of saw as an opportunity as a distance runner, got into with her athleticism, and kind of worked that into a scholarship for herself at Drake University. The reason I say that is because she came to me 3 years ago and was like, hey, I really like Nordic, and it was something that we didn't have, and she threw a bunch of persistent conversations and just sticking with it, right, as she's smiling at me, to where we were able to kind of make that happen, and it was for her, and then it's grown a little bit each and every year. So we want to, as an activities department, do what kids want to do and try and come up with ways to make that happen, and so through the grace of Coach Eric, I know him at Henry Sibley, that happened. The other cool thing about Tessa, even though she competed as South St. Paul, she was their team MVP over at Henry Sibley. And the kids recognized her as like a leader for everything that she does. So she was recognized as team MVP over there. So cool story. Just goes to show you what South St. Paul kids are all about. So, Tessa Laska.
Favorite 6th grade teacher was?
Mr. Aaron.
That's a great story.
Yes. Congratulations. Congrats, Tessa. Way to go.
I knew I'd find one in there.
Last but definitely not least, our girls basketball coach, Kristen Johnson.
Yay.
Good evening. Thanks for having us. Our basketball season started off with a lot of unknowns. We graduated 7 seniors last year, and we're bringing in no seniors. So we had lots of spots to fill, and some that had some experience but knew that we would need a lot of people to step up this year. So it was a very exciting season. I've never had a season where we didn't have any of those seniors to just kind of be those natural leaders, and it was a lot of fun. Everything this year was about improving because the girls knew that they're all coming back, and so if they could just get better every day, they have 2 years really to show their growth and what they can accomplish. So some of our highlights, we won our Randolph tournament over the holiday tournament, so that was fun for the girls to kind of end 2018 and really lead us into 2019 with some strong hopes. We beat Hastings in a big win for the first time since they've joined our conference, so that was a big kind of turning point for the girls, really believing in themselves that they could compete against a team that had some Division I athletes, and that they just showed up and were ready to compete and continue to grow every year or every day. We had 2 all-conference honorable mentions this year with Savannah Youngstrom, who was a junior, and Bryn Bauer, who was a sophomore, and then 1 all-conference honor with Ariana Chiarella right here, who is only a sophomore, which is a huge accomplishment in itself. In our conference, 14 girls get all-conference, and the top 7 in our conference are Division I athletes. So for her to get an all-conference honor as a sophomore in our conference really shows the work that she put in. Many of the coaches in our conference had no idea who she was. She only played as a freshman last year, and so for them to recognize her again is just tells a lot about the work that she put in this year to improve and get better. She stepped in as a point guard, which is the most important role, obviously, for a basketball team and one of the most challenging to play, and she never backed down from that position. She led our team in scoring, and we really relied on her whenever we needed a play, and she barely even needed any coaching to know that when we needed a game-changing moment, she needed to be the one to help us have that. In the conference, some of the recognitions that she reserved were due to she was the 11th leading scorer in three-point shooting. She was 5th in our conference in free throws made, 8th in our conference in steals, and in the top 15 overall in the conference in scoring. So again, a great recognition for someone who didn't have a lot of experience playing varsity basketball. And I will also attest to the fact it's really hard to coach in a program in a city where hockey, as you heard, has all those accolades. So it's always special to coach a group of girls who want to kind of make their own name for themselves and be a part of our program.
That's great.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ari.
Thank you.
Not done. Way to go.
Yeah, nice work. Thank you.
Great, sorry. So Kristen, you guys stand here, right?
Yeah.
So she's frustrated that I made her be the last one, but it's one of those things that when you're a former teacher, right, that you can kind of do to your former students, just like letting you out of class late or whatever. So Kristen is one of those people that's instrumental for our activities department. She is a sounding board for me that I just kind of go to throughout the week, throughout the month, just to kind of get a pretty good idea of where things are at within our activities department, of things that either I'm doing well or things I need to improve on, just to be able to ask questions and get a different perspective, and for sure a female perspective. And I've appreciated that about her, and she's very honest and candor, which is great. That's why I'm going to her. She's deciding to step away from girls basketball and won't be our head coach any longer because of things that she has in her life, of a family and being able to kind of put some effort and time, because she's all in, and it's one of those things where I talked earlier, equality in action, of like, if you're going to have a strong youth program and you're going to have a strong high school program, that the things that she's been doing for summer and into the fall, I mean, it's 365, 24/7 that you just continue to do and do and do. And she recognizes that. But I think you've honestly been wearing maroon and white since you were probably 5. Yeah. You know what I mean? There was a...
I said I think, but there was only 5 years where it wasn't. 4 years, 5. 4 in college and 1 when I coached somewhere else where I wasn't wearing Packer.
Packer attire on the sideline for girls basketball. So I know I'm going to miss her. Ended up, her career finished with 82, 81 wins. So right there at the top of the list in terms of South St. Paul. Still going to be around. Still going to be a person I go to and talk to and ask questions of. But we're going to miss her on the sideline of the basketball court. So I just needed to say publicly thank you.
Yay.
Appreciate you. As a reminder for the folks at home, we have 3 significant events on the horizon as we kind of finish out the school year and segue into the summer. One of the coolest things that we have going in our activities department is our activities and athletic banquet, 72nd year, that we're going to be hosting that on Wednesday, May 1st. Tickets are for sale Wednesday. They are ready to go. And you can see Chris in the office or myself, and we'll be happy to sell those to anybody that wants to stop in and pick those up. This year we'll be recognizing 117 seniors out of 202 that at some point lettered, participated, were involved in an activity or an athletic throughout their 9th through 12th grade year. We also have, 2 weeks after that, our Stride for Packer Pride that the Schultz family puts together to kind of help with fees and anything that is associated with activities in athletics. They have their 5K run/walk. I'm training right now in order to be able to complete this hill over here by City Hall. But that is Saturday, May 18th at 9 a.m. And then last but definitely not least, we have our South St. Paul Open golf tournament for the South St. Paul Open Foundation. That is going to be Monday, July 15th at Southview Country Club. And the 2 honorees are former teachers, Gerald Gustafson and Vic Grabo. Are the 2 that will be recognized. I'm going to have to work on that before Monday, July 15th. But look forward to seeing all these faces as we start our honors breakfast and our activities and all the different banquet seasons of chicken and mashed potatoes. And thank you for all the work that you do and allowing me to kind of support these kids and these coaches. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Good job. Thank you.
Chad, we just want to say thanks to you too as you're walking out, and just if we could give Chad Sexauer and Chris Neihart a round of applause for their officers.
Good. All right. It's not going to be nearly as fun, but we'll move on to the rest of our agenda. We'll start off with the approval of the meeting agenda and minutes for the school board meeting agenda tonight, April 8th, 2019. The committee of the whole meeting minutes from March 25th, 2019, and the regular board meetings minutes from March 25th, 2019. Do I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That motion passes. The consent items, the financial claims and the staffing, do I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The consent agenda is approved. Policy, we have nothing coming forward tonight. That brings us to the business items, and there are 2 resolutions. The first is for the South St. Paul Board to approve the resolution relating to the non-renewal of long-term and limited contract substitute teachers, and for that we will do the reading and the reading of the resolution will turn to Linda.
Great. Whereas the following teachers are limited contract, long-term substitute teachers in Special School District Number 6, be it resolved by the School Board of Special School District Number 6 pursuant to Minnesota Statutes 122A.40 Subdivision 5 that the teaching contracts of these limited contracts long-term substitute teachers in Special School District Number 6 are hereby terminated effective at the end of the 2018-2019 school year. Seal McDonald, long-term substitute, secondary. Christine Olson, long-term substitute, elementary. Chris Sandmiller, long-term substitute, elementary. Be it further resolved that written notice be sent to said teachers regarding non-renewal of their contracts in accordance with Minnesota law.
Thank you, Linda. Now, she also moved that by reading it, so now I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
And just maybe a reminder that sometimes we have openings during the middle of the year and we have long-term subs that come in. We just have to end their stay with us so we can get the positions posted to get a position hired for the coming school year. So just our standard practice.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. Wendy, will you call the roll?
Inspector McClellan?
Yes.
Inspector Bjorklund?
Yes.
Inspector Diaz?
Yes.
Inspector Lalaberty?
Yes.
Inspector Arndt?
Yes.
Inspector Felton says yes. Inspector Walker?
Yes.
7 yeas.
Thank you, and that resolution is approved. The next is for the South St. Paul School Board to approve the resolution relating to the non-renewal of probationary teachers. And to read and move that resolution, we'll turn to Nikki.
Whereas the following teachers are probationary teachers in Special School District Number 6, be it resolved by the School Board of Special School District Number 6 pursuant to Minnesota Statutes 122A.40, Subdivision 5, that the teaching contracts of these probationary teachers in Special School District Number 6 are hereby terminated effective at the end of the 2018-2019 school year. Andrew Onker, band teacher. Jesse Arvidson, special ed teacher. Kelly Boucher, special ed teacher. Desiree Demings, language arts teacher. Brooke DeWard, art teacher. Noah Dombrowski, special education teacher. Peter Erickson, science teacher. Carly Gates, language arts teacher. Gary Johnson, business teacher. Chang Ying Lawton, Chinese teacher. Lindsay McNown, art teacher. Micah Merritt, humanities teacher. Sandra Overson, math teacher. Carol Casada Cerdas, Spanish teacher. Tara St. Martin, art teacher. Scott Udis, science teacher. And Beth Zender, family and consumer science teacher. Be it further resolved that written notice be sent to said teachers regarding non-renewal of their contracts in accordance with Minnesota law.
Thank you. Do I have a second on that resolution?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I would just add again that there are a number of people on the list that might be in a .8 position that we want to move to a full-time position. We can't move them and increase their contract unless we release them from a partial contract to get them to full-time. So just the list is long, but know that a number of those people will be coming back next year. So.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dave. Any other discussion? If not, Wendy, please call the roll.
Inspector Arndt?
Yes.
Inspector Lalaberty?
Yes.
Inspector Felton votes yes. Inspector Diaz?
Yes.
Inspector Bjorklund?
Yes.
Inspector McClellan?
Yes.
Inspector Walker?
Yes.
7 yeas.
Thank you. That resolution is approved. That's the end of the agenda items, and we'll move to our informational items and start off with our superintendent's report.
Well, good evening. Let's see if this switch over. You let me know if you see anything come up on yours.
You know what? Somebody disconnected
Did they
it.
disconnect it?
Sorry.
That's all right.
This happens every
Just a
time.
second here. And then hit computer again. Got anything on your end?
Coming. Starting.
Blue windows.
Starting. The blue windows. Oh, green now. Blue. Blue.
We'll take whatever you got. You just give me a high sign one. So just our superintendent update, the very first thing you should know about is just a recap of our committee of the whole meeting that we had just prior to this meeting. So this is a big staffing night where the board in our 5 o'clock meeting got to hear about all the comings and goings of staff and staff changes and recommendations for the coming school year. We also gave the board a heads up that we have a program called Safe Routes to School, where we are partnering with the city and Dakota County to try to make sure that we are working to improve things like the sidewalks and pathways for kids to get to our schools safely. And we'll be writing for a grant with our county in partnership with them to see if we can get a part-time coordinator just for that task here in South St. Paul schools. We also, as you just saw for the last hour, have a pretty amazing activities and athletic program here in our community. Chad Sexauer does an incredible job leading that effort with support from Chris Neihart and many others, and an incredible group of parents and kids and coaches that were here tonight that we were able to celebrate and honor. We also have, as we cruise around the district, let's see if I can get this next slide to be moving forward. How about we go right here? How about that? We have, in addition to our Safe Routes partnership, this shows our partnership with our South St. Paul Packers, partnering with the city in softball and baseball teams that volunteered with the sandbagging efforts down at the city and down next to the river. So just a shout out to our teams going out of their way above and beyond. And to be honest, they were having a little bit of a struggle getting onto the field this year with the snow staying around as long as it has been. And we're hoping Thursday's snow event does not happen for all of our spring sports. I want to say congrats and a shout out to Mr. Burke, science teacher, who recently received his national board certification. So way to go, Joe. We also, on April 15th, we are the host site for a feature film called Angst. So you open almost any newspaper these days, you're going to see stories of increasing anxiety, increasing mental health challenges that our kids in our schools and our communities and our state and our nation are facing. So we want to be a hub to talk about the increases that we're seeing and the needs for mental health support for kids all over our country. So on April 15th, we are going to be a host for the movie, but in addition, we are a host for counseling centers that will be present and have booths and tables set up. Our own counselors within from our school system are coordinating this event, again, in concert with Dakota County. And just behind the scenes, just know that we continue to train our staff and provide staff development on recognizing the signs of anxiety and mental health in our own kids. We still have much to learn as a staff and our 500 staff members, and we want to continue to grow and learn with the community. And this event is a way for us to do that in partnership together. You know that we've been hosting monthly community conversations, so that April 15th night for Angst will be another chance to get together with our community. We have we had a planning session this afternoon to plan our May event. We're looking for a restorative conversation event in May with our community. We're also reaching out to our students and staff. For students, we have a number of dates that we have highlighted that we'll be going to schools, hearing student conversation, hearing student comments about ways that we can improve and continue to grow our system. So we just wanted to highlight that for our community as well. And then our upcoming events, again, we have Community Conversations series. This Thursday, we're going to have one all in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking parents. So if you speak Spanish and habla un poco de español, tienen la invitación para conversar con nosotros. So that's Thursday, April 11th. We also have the 15th, as I mentioned, the Angst showing. We have a Kaposia food distribution on April 18th. And then Student Makeup Day will be April 19th. So that's it for me, and we'll go back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Dr. Webb. We'll have our board member reports now and start to my left with Nikki.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Bill?
Likewise, nothing.
All right, and Wendy?
I have a few things. Surprise, surprise. First off, I'd like to start out As we've seen this evening, our student athletes and our activity participants, and I just want to highlight one of the young men that was here today. Gavin Christofferson, he's a senior this year and a wrestler on our teams. He was voted the Athlete of the Week through Inver Grove Toyota's program recognizing student athletes and participants, so you may have seen it in the Southwest Review. If not, this is a small copy of Gavin's picture in the paper. As it was said earlier, he took third place this past February in the state high school wrestling tournament in the 170 weight class. He was also named All-Conference, All-State 3 times, and All-State honorable mention. So congratulations to Gavin as Athlete of the Week. And also as a reminder, this coming weekend, as Mr. Holson had said, the spring play, Thursday, Friday, Saturday evening, and Sunday afternoon matinee at 2 o'clock. If you're available to come, you can reserve your tickets ahead of time. Contact Mr. Holson through the website, and you can place your order. And as always, senior citizens in our community are admitted for no charge. And I am the representative to the Educational Foundation, and recently there was some computer issues at the foundation office. So if you are an alumni member from South St. Paul High School, if you could go on their website, the Education Foundation website, and update your current alumni information, that would be greatly appreciated. They are going back as far as we have records to try and get everybody updated and back into the system. I know Carrie Voyevich and Sharon Jakacki would truly appreciate your help in that endeavor. Spread the word, go on the website, and just fill in your alumni information. That would be great. And also, as we talk about all the upcoming spring events, our prom is coming up in 3 weeks. It will be Saturday, April 27th. It is being held at US Bank Stadium this year. So it's a new venue. It should be a lot of fun. Ticket costs are $50 each. And students will be bused to and from US Bank Stadium from the secondary, so that to cut down on travel issues or concerns with parking, things like that. And the parents will be able to see the Grand March at the secondary building before the students leave for prom. So check on the high school website for further information. Just keep it in mind that it's coming up at US Bank Stadium. It should be a lot of fun for kids. And just one last thing, it's been posted on the school districts, the separate school websites. I know Kaposia and Lincoln Center, they're still having notices out there for kindergarten registration. If you have a student who's going to be, child who's going to be 5 years old before September 1st, please get them registered at your building, Kaposia or Lincoln Center. Feel free to contact the buildings for more information of what you need to bring to register your child for kindergarten. As we start to plan for next school year already, it's great to get all the kids signed up so that they can get their information and their pre-packages and all the stuff that they get to do prior to the first day of school. So keep that in mind if you have a young child. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. We'll move down to Linda.
Yes, I wanted to give a shout out to the third grade teachers at Kaposia who took bus loads, it felt like a million, of kids to the zoo. Last Friday was my privilege to, or my honor to chaperone, thanks, and just so well managed, so well organized. Every detail was planned out. The kids were charming and curious, and you know it is a successful field trip when even the bus ride is fun. So shout out to those great teachers there.
Thank you. And Patty?
Yeah, speaking of shout outs, I wanted to lift up once again that we have a finalist among our staff for the Minnesota Teacher of the Year. We're so proud that Ms. Davis has advanced, and we're excited to hear. Do we know when that'll be announced?
I'm not sure, but one of 9 finalists. So.
That's pretty exciting.
Indeed it is. Yeah, clearly, congratulations to Jess. And Jeff?
Nothing tonight.
All right. Well, we have no supplemental agenda, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The motion passes, and we are adjourned.